Senator Xenophon.
Thank you, Chair. I have some questions, firstly in relation to Indonesia and then in respect of Malaysia, because I know Senator Carr's been waiting for those questions from in relation to that. Can I just go back to Mr Cox, your response, and I'm grateful to that, and the line of questioning of Senator Madigan. On the 30th of April 2007, during the JSCOT, the Joint Standing Committee on Treaties hearings on the Lombok Treaty, Gillian Bird, the Deputy Secretary of DFAT, in her evidence at page 43 said, in relation to the Lombok Treaty, and I quote, "It doesn't in any way infringe upon freedom of expression or freedom of association." So is the department agreeing that Papuans retain their right to express their demand for independence?
Well, Senator, I think the answer to that question is that Australia recognises the territorial integrity of.
Sorry, that's not the question.
That is the essence. That is one of the key elements of the Lombok Treaty.
Well, one of the elements of the Lombok Treaty is to recognise the territorial integrity of Indonesia, correct?
That's right. The Lombok Treaty does recognise the territorial integrity of Indonesia.
Yes,
that is correct.
Yet the Deputy Secretary of your department back in 2007 at the parliamentary hearing into the Lombok Treaty said it doesn't in any way infringe upon freedom of expression or freedom of association. You don't.
No, that is correct. I mean, the treaty does not deal with those issues in Indonesia. It is not about freedom of association. It is about shared security challenges and addressing those between Australia and Indonesia.
But Article 2, Part 3 of the treaty says, consistent with their respective laws and domestic obligations, isn't it your understanding, given what Ms Bird said back in 2007 before the Joint Standing Committee, that it is consistent with the Lombok Treaty that a freedom of expression is a part of that treaty on the part of Indonesians.
Yes, well, I mean, people in Indonesia are free to express their opinion, and they do with great alacrity. I mean, Indonesia is a democracy.
Yes, I acknowledge that, although my understanding is that there are people from West Papua that are getting 15 years jail terms for displaying red, white and blue flags. That's the case, isn't it?
Well, those are matters for Indonesia.
Encouraged by reckless Australians.
No.
Encouraged by reckless Australians.
Senator Carr, I have enormous regard for you. I think you know that, but that you are either conflating or diverting the issue. The fact is there are West Papuans who residents of West Papua who have gone to jail for the crime of displaying a red, white and blue flag. That's the case, isn't it?
Well, those are matters for Indonesia and Indonesia's criminal law. Under Indonesia's criminal law, there continue to be a range of articles that provide for various penalties in response to such crimes as this. And so, consistent with their laws, that is exactly right. And there are laws, including the criminal law of Indonesia, that continue to have crimes on the books that relate to these sorts of matters.
Mr Cox, I'm very grateful for your answers, but isn't the jailing of people in Indonesia for displaying the West Papuan flag, isn't that in itself, isn't that inconsistent with the Lombok Treaty?
No.
You don't see it as inconsistent?
No.
So Article 2, Part 6 of the Lombok Treaty states nothing in this agreement affects Australia's or Indonesia's obligations under international law.
No. There are articles in the Indonesian criminal law that cover these sorts of acts. They are Indonesian laws, they are not Australian laws. That doesn't mean we necessarily agree with those articles in Indonesian laws, but those are Indonesian laws. And as you said in the reference to the other article, we respect each other's laws. They are different legal systems, different countries, different cultures.
There's no question of that, but the Lombok Treaty, a treaty signed between the two nations, gives certain rights and mutual rights and obligations, and you don't see that there's a breach of that treaty when West Papuans are jailed for 15 years for displaying a flag.
No.
You don't?
No. The Australian government does not.
Okay. Well, I just can't take it. So that means that Ms Bird was wrong back on when she gave evidence on the 30th of April 2007 before the Joint Standing Committee on Treaties.
No, she
Because
was
what
perfectly
you're saying
correct.
now is quite inconsistent with what Ms Bird said back in 2007.
No, she was perfectly correct. In normal course, in freedom of speech, as commonly understood, yes, that is quite right. But there are certain laws in Indonesia with relation to these sorts of political matters where, you know, the Indonesians have a different legal system from ours. But no, Ms Bird was perfectly correct in her evidence.
So she said it doesn't in any way infringe upon freedom of expression or freedom of association. So is the department now agreeing that Papuans retain the right to express their demand for independence?
Well, Papuans do have a right to express their concern about the situation in and they do regularly. I mean, there are many people who express concern about the economic, social, political situation in Papuan provinces, including leaders in Papua themselves. I mean, Papua is an open province where there are many people, Papuan leaders, the governor, many people who are advocating for the full implementation of the special autonomy system, effective management of the province, a greater degree of economic and social development. So yeah, it's a...
Okay. Look, I need to finish up on this soon because I want to ask the Minister some questions in Malaysia, but the department opposed the specific mention of human rights in the Lombok Treaty because Ms Bird, after being on questioning by the committee, said the rights were already there. Now, you said in the normal course of events, West Papuans are free to express their opinion, but it seems that if you display a flag, the West Papuan flag, that is in the abnormal course of events and you could get 15 years in jail. You agree with that proposition?
Well, you'd have to look at the specific circumstances of each flag raising. Often these incidents are occasioned by other demonstrations or other actions. You just have to look at the specific circumstances of each case. I can't comment specifically on the circumstances of each incident where that might have occurred and what are the related incidents around it that led to you know, a violent action. And certainly there are people who get very hot under the collar about these sorts of issues on both sides of the debate in the Papuan provinces.
Thank you. I won't take it any further.